Alright, that's great. Well, what were you saying before?
Okay, so what I was saying was, we enjoy traveling.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun.
I do. I love playing these events.
Yeah, it's just it's fun time before and after and during.
Although sightseeing, not my thing.
I don't really. Okay, I don't go to the grocery store and just buy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a list kind of person. I go, this is what I need, I get it, and I might grab like a splurge item. Some coffee ice cream. Oh, let's put this in the cart. But that's me. So when I go traveling for an event, I'm there to do the event. I'm not like, oh, I gotta spend an extra day doing whatever. Now, if I was going to Europe, like some of other content creators, like Brendan, he like travel, like that's cool. But while I'm on a trip, I'm not really trying to sightsee. I'm trying to play my card games and leave.
I like coming in on I like getting there the day before. Although I didn't do that for nationals.
Yeah, that was a mistake, bro.
That one.
I felt bad for you because I got to the hotel room, bro, and I just crashed. I wake up to text messages like, "Where's Sean?" It's like, I was sleeping, dog. I didn't have.
I was playing.
Yeah.
I usually like getting there the day before, and then just like hanging out, getting dinner, and then sleeping in the hotel room, and then you're in like the schedule.
Yeah.
But that was not possible with national scheduling.
So let's talk about your nationals. So how'd it go?
We'll start with what happened beforehand. So looked at flights, coming from the West Coast, going to the East Coast, always, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. This was right after we came back from Europe, by the way, and I didn't do my flight beforehand because I was like, in case I spend too much money in Europe, I might need to, get a cheaper flight,
Yeah.
And I looked at my bank account for my spending money, right? I looked at here's my card game / travel money for Fab, and I went, damn.
About to get one of them cheap flights.
looks like we ended up Spirit this time. So I looked at it. The only flight that I could find that was on Thursday, the cheapest was like $500, and I was like,
that's not gonna work.
That I gotta pay. I gotta pay for other things as well, like while we're traveling. So I was like, yeah, that one ain't it. That one ain't it. And then I try to find a little bit cheaper ones, and the only thing that wasn't around like $400 or $500 was this cheeky $180 flight from Spirit that left at 11 o'clock Vegas time.
Yep.
And got there at like
5:43 in the morning.
Yeah, 5:43 in the morning in North Carolina, and I was like, yo, this one's it, So I booked that one. You're on the same flight as me too. You're on the same flight. We're the only ones doing this overnight thing, and we.
I'm the soldier. That's why, bro. I do the rough stuff too.
That's true. And so I got to work that day, so it was even cheaper. I basically paid for my entire flight, and I was like, okay, cool. I upgraded my seat to get one of those, to attempt to get one of the bigger seats. Newsflash, was not a bigger seat.
Nope.
Was the same cramped 3-seater, but just at the front of the plane instead of the back. So I just wasted $80 doing that. So I was like, okay, cool. I wanted to treat myself. Did not get treated. I sat next to this couple that talked the entire time when I was trying to sleep, and I could not, get comfortable to sleep on that flight either. So yeah, that one was terrible.
I had similar. I had a guy, just truck driver, talking the whole time, and I'm like, I got headphones in, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just gonna listen to my music, which is just code word for I'm gonna, because I can sleep through music.
Yeah.
So put music on, just close my eyes, and we got a baby crying.
Yeah, that flight was.
Do not take young children on planes. When you get up in the altitude, we know how to pop our ears. We're adults. We've done that. Young kids can't. It hurts the brain. Then they start crying, and then you're just trying to calm them down. Unless you can pop their ears, it's not going to happen. That was just super rude.
Yeah, it was a quick, painless, 4.5 hours on a plane. It was the greatest time of my life at that point. Yeah, so we landed at 5:30, right? And my internet just doesn't turn on during the airport either. So I was in the front, so I'm waiting for you to get off the plane, and then for us to go get an Uber. And my phone just still has no service. And I took it off airplane mode, and it's been out there, just refuses to have service until literally while we were walking through the airport, it finally turned back on, and I got 80 messages because it's the middle of the night and I'm usually awake then. And so I'm like, cool. We walk it through, we get the Uber. I Ubered to my hotel. You were staying in a different hotel with John. You Ubered yours. I think I take a 2-hour power nap at the hotel. And then I wake up at 7:30, Well, it was not. It was definitely less than 2 hours. Get up, drive to the venue. I'm feeling good. You know, Wesley and them convinced me to play Fi instead of Kano.
Yep.
My personal opinion about this meta is I don't like it. I don't really resonate with any of the decks in this format. I think like the closest one I resonate is probably Fi, but traditionally I haven't really liked that deck. I'd like to play Viserai. I think that's just a bad option right now.
Yeah.
I think people will play it. I think it rewards you for playing it a lot.
Yes.
I just don't think that's I don't want to struggle through every matchup I'm going to face during the day, right? So I'm not going to play that. Got talked out of playing Kano because, you know, I don't know. I got talked out of it.
Because Kano is bad at the moment.
Mm.
If you want to do a lot of work, you could play Kano, but there's a lot of work every time you sit down in this meta.
My theory on Kano, right, is that I'll probably win. Like, I'll either go 1-3 or 3-1, right? Which is, you know, fine. Which is what I exactly did with Fi.
Yeah.
So we sit down for a draft pod. Oh, I got mad at this draft pod because I sit down.
You got messed up in the final pairing, yeah.
We sit down. I'm drafting. I see my first pick. I look at, like, there's, like, 3 Icelander cards in the pack. My rare is, like, red Fiendals and then a foil Icelander card. Mm-hmm. And then there's pretty much, like, really nothing in the rest of the pack. I think there was 1 0-for-3 starter in Fi. The Dromai cards were both yellows, so it's not like I'm going to pick that first. And I was, like, kind of thinking about my signal, and I was like, okay, if I take the Fi card, there's 2 other blue Fi cards in the pack, and, like, that still sends that, like, hey, like, blue Fi cards are really good, because there's not a lot of the good ones. Mm-hmm. So somebody, like, downstreams would probably take one, and I don't want to be that close to another Fi player. I can't take an Icelander card, because there's 4 Icelander cards, if you count the foil.
Yep.
Just not going to work out for me, right?
Yep.
So I take the Pauper. And then second pick, I see that there is a Fi card taken out of the pack. I look at the 2 Dromai cards; they're both blue. And then there's 3 Icelander cards, and there's just like no. The equipment is just like the Icelander hood, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take that this early. So I just take Aether Icefan blue. And I was like, cool, that's a good start. I look at the next pack. There's a Dromai card and a Fi card taken, and then there's 3 Icelander cards still in the pack, and I just take Aether Icefan blue, and I pass. And then I go to the next pack, and it's just like 2 Fi cards and a Dromai card taken out of the pack, and go, I'm just hard Icelander.
Yeah.
Draft Icelander, wheel back, I have 25 blues in my deck, like 25 playable blues. Like, I even cut like 3 of them because they were the worst blues in my deck. Yeah. I think my deck had 5 Aether Icefang blues, and I'm just
beautiful.
I'm just like, yo, we're hitting. This is going to be the good one, right? And then I have like Premier Reds too. I have like 3 Paupers. I have Aether Icefang Reds. I got Aether Hail Reds. Like, it's just good. Like everything you would ever want. I got 3 Sigil. I got like Healing Bombs. I got Oasis in the sideboard. Like everything you would want, right?
You did not get
2. I did not get the Wizard Chest. That was literally, I think my deck was an A, like a straight A. If I had the Wizard Chest, it was probably one of the top 5 best drafts I ever had in Uprising. Really liked it. Really good drafter. Very fun. There's 2 Icelanders in my pod, so I'm already feeling really great after I sit down on round 1. Played against a Fi. I won on turn 4, just yeeted him. That game wasn't close. Then I played against a Dromai, beat that one. I had a lot of the arcane, so I was able to kill his Ashwings coming at me and chip in during the game.
Yep.
And then I came in with like a 2-for-5 arcane plus Waning Moon, and then came in with
I just want to point out, when he says kills Ashwings, there's a technique that when they attack with the Ashwing, you, in response to the declared attack, kill the Ashwing. It never gets go again because it's not there to resolve. That's what he's referring to, and then you just get the Waning Moon.
It was on declaration of attack, you kill it.
Yes.
And it doesn't get there.
That's a little inside trick for good limited people.
I also hate drafted 2 of the Stilettos for Dromai.
Oh, beautiful.
That had EB, and the 3 Dromai players, none of them had the boots, and I'm just like, haha.
I got the boots.
I was in such a good position in that draft. There's only 1 Wizard Chest opened, I found out, and the other Icelander had it, but there was only 2 Stilettos, and both of them were in my sideboard. that was like how good this deck was, where I hate drafted some of the best cards. I had a Tide Flippers in there too. Like,
just because
like
your deck is so good you can afford.
My deck was so good I was able to hate draft like.
It's like when those yellows come around, you're like, oh, I'll just take your equipment.
Yeah, I'll just take your equipment. I have enough playables right now.
Yeah.
So I 2-0 my pod at the beginning, and then this is the tragic things happened. Some reason, Gem paired me against somebody in another pod. I'm supposed to play 2-0 versus 2-0. The guy actually ended up top 8ing nationals.
Yeah.
The other guy that was both the Ice Senders made it to fight for the 3-0. I was supposed to play him, and then I get paired against a dude that's not in my pod. He said he was 1-1, and then just has a bonkers deck. And I just like, and our pod was kind of like a low roll pod that like most of the people were talking about.
Yeah.
Of where like the cards were like okay. We didn't have really good decks. This dude's deck was, like, by far, like, one of those decks where it's like, I don't know how he lost a round. Like, he just had one of those Ice Ender decks where I'm just like, damn, it's just rough. I also don't have AB on my chest. The game was just, like, not close.
Yeah.
He went, like, 2 for 5 this spell on my turn with Waning Moon, take all your damage, 2 for 5, like, and I was just like, alright, I'm just gonna die. So that was a little rough. Kind of mad at that one. The other Ice Ender 3-0's his pod, so I'm happy for him. He got paired down inside our pod, so I just like randomly play somebody else. So I'm like 2-1 my draft, which is great. So many things can go wrong in Uprising draft. I'm really good at 2-1ing my pod. Sad I didn't get to 3-0 because I lost 8 elo by going 2-1 my pod because the limited elo system is like I'm just vastly ahead of everybody. So it's kind of hard. I dropped a couple places. I think
you gave that dude a bunch of elo.
I did. No, that guy got a lot of elo.
Donation.
That was a donation right there. But to our pod, feeling great. I sit down for round 1 of CC, played against an Icelander. It was traditionally told that this Phi deck was supposed to wreck Icelander. This guy, obviously, Michael Hamilton came out with like Battle Mage, was not playing that version. He was playing the traditional version. I went first. Arsenal to War. He had like Brain Freeze, but I had just like I R-word in response to his Brain Freeze, and then just drew only 1 cost, so he couldn't take any zeros, and then I just went 1 cost, 1 cost, 1 cost with a belittle to get a blue on the second time, and then he took 16 after full blocking with his hand, didn't have an Arsenal, and then I drew another Art of War, and then I drew a Sprouting Flames, and then the game was over.
Yep.
And yeah, that was a quick game. So feeling great at 3-1. You know, I didn't play. That was the first Ice Ender I ever played with Phi, and I pretty much only played like mirrors and versus other aggro decks, which comes to my detriment of I get paired against Olden the next round. Mm-hmm. But I'm vastly ahead. It's like 16-4. He blocks with all of his equipment. Doesn't have an Arsenal. He draws up to 4. I look at my 4-card hand. I'm like, I don't have a Go Again, and I don't have Snapdragon, so I come in for 4 with Snatch, and I Arsenal the card. I also, Keely didn't have enough resources, because I had a quad red hand to get back Phoenix Flame to start the chain.
Yes.
So that was tragic. So just come in with Snatch for 4, and then pass. So he gets to...
Just don't do that, guys. When you play Phi, just don't draw those hands.
Don't draw that.
It does feel bad.
It gets worse. It gets worse from here. So he 3 blocks, takes 1, then he spinals me. And I look at my hand, I don't have Go Again anyways, so I 3 block it, and then come in for another 0 for 3, just Lava Vein Loyalty. And I go, cool. Draw up again. No Go Again. I'm like, how's this possible? Right? Like, the amount of Go Again that's in Phi. I think I drew every non-Go Again card in Phi, like, back-to-back-to-back hands. And then he just had fused Oakenold, and then I got pummeled, and then I died.
Yeah, it's over.
And I was like, it's tragic. That's 3-2. I'll win the next one. I get paired against OG Bravo. That man did not miss. I went second. I played my first hand, and I never attacked the rest of the game. That was a great time. And then I played against Oldham on the last round. That game was really close, actually. He got ahead because he had like a CNC, and he telegraphed he had a pummel. And I blocked for 10, and I was like, cool, it was great. I came in with like a 2-card hand because I blocked with my equipment, and we came back to it, and he had Oasis on my 4 and was able to block with Stalagmite to stop my turn, and then he had Pummel to go over the top, and I lost. So yeah, ended up 3-4, did not make day 2 of Nationals, which, you know, obviously not the plan.
Not the plan. All right, so Peter did not have a good time. He did not practice Fi enough. We didn't do our job in convincing him not to play Kano fast enough. So
I think I had...
Take that on me.
I think the first time I played Fi was Thursday night.
Yes.
I played the Armory before I got on the flight, and we played 3 rounds. Those were the 3 rounds of Fi I played before Nationals. And then I played 2 Dromai.
So he should have just played Kano, is what he's trying to say. He should have just played Kano.
With the lack of preparation I had with the deck that we switched to, I should have played Kano. Although, Spencer, which was on the same exact list that I ran, top 8 of the entire event.
The homie
Spencer. Shout out to Spencer, actually.
Yep.
He top 8'd with the list. So it's not like the list was bad. This was actually quite good. If I had another week of testing and actually put like 20 plus games into it, I think I probably would have went at least 3-1. Probably would have 3-1. But, who cares? I gotta play a card game for a weekend. Who cares?
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so Peter didn't have good. Homie Spencer did well. Everyone else, every other homie that was in Nationals ended up playing the calling except for one.
Except for
Chris.
Yeah.
And then his day 2 did not go very well. Nope. So he was at the bar drinking at some point.
Hey,
that's all I know.
So, think about Chris. I love Chris, right?
Chris is great.
At least it's not as bad as PT2 for Chris.
Oh, yeah.
To where he 2-1'd his draft, and then he 0-4'd the CC portion when you only had a 3-4 to make day 2, and then threw his deck away. He was so mad that he just threw his deck with CNC still in the deck.
Yeah, he threw away his Briar deck, right?
No, he threw away Fi.
Oh.
Because he switched to Fi like I did, but he actually played enough games on it, but he just didn't win a game. But this is like PT2, so it's like a whole bunch of different meta. Actually, a better meta for Fi, I believe, because you had Prism. And I was like, that's rough right there. So
yeah, it's rough. Sometimes card games will do that to you.
Sometimes you just have bad days.
Even the best laid plans often falter.
But how was your calling?
My calling started out great. I did say video will be up. I did say I was going to win the thing, and I feel like I should have. I started out 6-0.
You were close.
I was killing fools.
Close.
Then I played Roger from the M&R podcast. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Roger. I do want to say that I talked. You know me. I love talking smack.
He loves talking shit.
I sat down. He said something, and I was like, "Ron, you're not doing that. I'm in your head. I watch your podcast." He was like, "That's the creepiest thing to say." I was like, "I'm just telling you, man. You guys are out there talking about your ideas. Yeah. I'm listening." I drew 1 single blue in the entire game. I was doing like Blaze Headlong for 4 as just to go. Like I was like, I'm gonna use, it was not fun. And they are on the Battle Mage version, which to their credit, I hadn't tested against. I had tested against the strictly arcane version.
That version broke the format, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that deck is
pretty good. So he goes 7-0, I go 6-1. Now if and then day 2, I punted the first round to Oldhim. I actually got my score sheet in here. I was up 9-1. I put Oldhim at 1.
Good position.
I'm gonna win the game. He telegraphs a CNC pummel, which I know. I draw into blue Lava Vein, red Rising Resentment, blue Ronin Renegade, and Sink Below. I have no arsenal because I had used my arsenal to go wide enough, whatever. So he CNCs, and at the time, and this is a bonehead, this is like a rookie mistake, I can't believe, but I was hyped up. At the time, I'm like, all right, I just give him Shuko and Tunic here. When he pummels, I just discard the Sink Below. I live at 2 life because he goes for 10. I block for 3. I live at 2, and then I just go red starter, blue into the Ember Blade, get a Phoenix Flame, and then if he doesn't ice react me, I just present another 1 attack, and then he has to block with every card in his hand for the rest of the game, and then there will be a turn where I go 5 attacks wide and game's over.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. So when I set my hand on Tunic to block, I put it out there, and then I set my hand on Shuko, and in my brain, I go, oh, maybe the damage prevention matters. And then I was like, yeah, it does. I'll just block with Sink Below. Just totally forgot the way this game works for a moment. And go, declared blocks, he pummels. And as soon as he said that, I go, oh, I can't use this. Sink Below. Brain, thank you. I just die at 9. That's literally, I block for 1, he does 10, I die. That had me set off, and then I basically punted the next game. I got up into like makeup mode, like, oh, I was mad at myself. I really wasn't even focused on the game. I was really upset that I should have been 7-1. And then I didn't win another game. I quit while I was ahead. I was like, I'm finishing with a winning record. I'm just going to stop. I did get to play Tyler. And Tyler...
shout out Tyler to Horsepool.
Shout out to Horsepool. I was the #1 member of the fan club, president. I think I'm going to resign now because he beat me up in the bathroom. Little do you guys know. He beat me up in the bathroom, and then he beat me up outside at the card tables.
No way.
He spit on me. It was so horrible. No, Tyler didn't do any of those things. I love Tyler. It's actually funny because Tyler is such a good guy. He apologized to me while kicking my ass.
That's when you know. That's when you know when you're getting high rolled.
Tyler apologized. Yeah, he was like,
when your opponent just apologizes.
Yeah, he was like, I'm sorry. This is first cycle. I can't believe the cards line up like this. I was like, it's okay. This is what happens game. I was like, I was doing this all day yesterday to people, which was fun. I love teasing Tyler. I was giving him a bunch of crap about it. He even said it. If you could play Oldham, if your deck lines up like that, that deck just beats everybody. He started out with like CNC Pummel, Spinal, Terra Sundered, whatever, a Terra Sundered Disable or something. Into a fused Oakenhold, and at that point I'm blocking with armor to survive. I Art of War defensively twice. I did the fabled Art of War +1/+1 block with attacks from defense.
From your arsenal?
For the Oakenhold, and hey guys, I know how to play this game, but it was not to win.
Yeah.
It was
to survive.
To troll Tyler and be like, because I technically was like, I think you got this. I mean, I can survive, but let's see what I do. And at one point, I'm like attacking with one card, and he's just blocking. It went like 2 more turns. It was over. I had to Art of War defensively twice. But yeah, like I said, I started out 6-1. I believe I should have been 7-1. I think because again, I was on a very similar list to Spencer's. I'm on my own version of it, obviously, but I believe I was well equipped into that meta. I was praying to God I got to play the Reinar player the next round. Like if I win that Oldham, the Reinar player had won, I would have loved to play that matchup.
Yeah.
I would have had, but I think it's on me. I should have done better. I think I should have been top 8 of that calling if I had played better, if I had not punted that game. Day 1, I was 4-0 against Viscerai. One of the guys in the top 8, John Bowe, I beat him to go 6-0. Dunked on him, breaking point. He literally looked at me and goes, "Oh, you play that card." And I'm like, I do play this card. If you guys check out some deck techs we got coming out, I'll talk about my breaking point.
So something that because
I
heard...
watched that, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. I did watch it. I saw the breaking point in your hand, and I was like, oh, this game's over. And then... But,
the line.
Yeah,
you didn't know if I saw it. Yeah,
I saw the line, and I was like, "Do you see the line?" And then you started doing it, and I was like, "Oh, I saw he saw it."
Yeah, so I lava burst. So in order to get the line off, I still have tide flippers. I'm lava bursting on the 3rd attack.
Yeah.
For 2 tide flippers, which gives me it's a 3rd draconic, which allows me to pick up the Phoenix Flame for free, which allows me to rupture the breaking point as a 4th attack as 5, and once he has to block, he only has 1 card in hand, and I have the game 1. He's at 1 life. I keep all my score sheets. But yeah, I saw that line. It was very interesting because I was like, man, how do I do this? And then when I identified the proper way, I was like, oh, this not only is this cool, but it makes Lava Burst really tricky because it's just like attacking for 2. They have to block it anyways because he's at 1 life. And then he's going down to 1 card. If I didn't have tide flippers there, that would have been a little trickier. But yeah, so again,
game's close.
I think the meta is. I don't think you should be playing Dromai. So we're recording this currently right now, and Battle Hardened Minnesota is currently live, and there were 15 Dromais at Battle. I'm not gonna lie. It's cool to play dragons and to play Dromami.
She hot
But the deck is not good in this meta. Like if Islander's running the attacks, and Fine just dunks on you.
Viscerai dunks on you. Briar's your close aggro matchup.
Yeah,
theoretically. So I watched a video from UK. I think he's I forgot what his name is. He's #1 limited dealer right now. He's from the UK. He was talking about he top 8'd with UK Nats with Dromai, and he was talking about how you play the endgame versus Oldham, and he's talked about his 4-step plan, and then even through this entire plan that he's explaining every single thing to us, and then he goes, "Yeah, if you had a popper in this hand, I instantly lost the game," and I was just like,
"Yeah, that's not."
I was like, "What?" I was like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
I was like, you can only manipulate people's decks so much to where your opponent just draws one extra with Crown that you don't get to see, and then like he has the popper on the turn that you don't have. You don't have Semblance in your deck. Well, he wasn't playing Semblance, or like your opponent tracks it if you have Semblance or not, and like if he was one more life in that game, he just like doesn't die to it on that turn, and I was just like, you're setting this four-step plan, second to third cycle of like your deck and Oldham's deck, and you still were like, oh yeah, if he just has a popper, I just lose the game. And I'm like, is that where you're putting every game on versus like the matchup you're going to play in? Like people are going to play Oldham.
Yeah,
like
you can't go into a meta and be like, I hope I don't play the best deck.
Yeah, it's like
because Oldham is one of the best decks.
I know every single Guardian Simp is going to be playing Oldham at this Oldham or OG Bravo, and
OG Bravo's not bad right now.
Like OG Bravo is pretty good. Like and if you're like, oh, I need to dodge these two like you're just dodging like 40% of the field. Like people don't play aggro.
Yeah,
like 5's one of the most represented decks of the format, and then you got Viscerai, which is like the 5th, and then you got there's still gonna be people that Icelander got closer. Like Briar's a close matchup. Then you're talking about like you have to have a 4-set plan for Oldham. You can still lose that matchup, and you're like.
And to be honest, Reinar is not a bad pick right now. If you've been playing Reinar, there was a Reinar player top 8 of the column. There's
Reinar top 8 of the column.
We know him. He's Arizona homie.
Yeah, he's one of the Arizona homies, and like that's a buy for him. He was talking. He was like, bro, if I play Dromai,
speaking of which, Jonathan, if you watch this, he high rolled the crap out of me in the Arizona RTN with Reinar versus Levia, and this was when we were on the draw discard Levia. That was just funny because he's like, bro, this is like the best Reinar hands ever, and I was like, it is what it is. I'm not playing a Levia deck that blocks.
Yeah.
So go ahead and intimidate my cards. But he was just like, yeah, and he's playing, he plays Reinar. Mm-hmm. And so in this meta, you can attack the Guardians because of the intimidate. It's interesting because Icelander has to respond to the intimidate triggers.
I played a couple of games of Icelander, and I played against a game of Reinar, and that matchup is like the same thing as like Reinar, Kano, and Blitz, to where both people can die at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's being able to navigate that entire matchup is just like very interesting. That one's actually quite interesting. I think I want to say Reinar has like a 52% and like 52, 80, like 48. But like that matchup is so cool. It's just so scary.
Yes.
Like when you're playing like the Icelander side, you're like, do I die every turn? Like every turn, you're like, am I dying this turn? Like,
so
where do I have to respond?
How do you play Dromai in this meta? I think you need to look as a Levia OG. You have to put down your lady, give her some rest, take the homies out to dinner, wait for the lady to get ready, and when she's ready, you pick her back up. You're good to go.
Now, what I will say is that if people want to bring her to Worlds, and your innovative like aggro
bro, you're
plan,
switching like 6 cards.
Or there, and so that if you want to bring that to Worlds, that's fine. Like Fi, you're just gonna lose to Fi, and
I do want to say the UK guy was running Pursuit of Knowledge and Dromai, which
that is the tech for the mirror. I'm telling you, Pursuit of Knowledge. If you're not playing Pursuit of Knowledge in the mirror, I think you're just intentionally losing that game.
Yeah, because it's just great. It's like, oh look, I got a 5-card hand. I have a 6-card hand because I have an arsenal. A lot of times the way it's interesting because she is so much like Prism in the way she plays. The game, like, obviously with Prism having the Spectral Shields, like you had a life buffer, Dromai does not have. But it's interesting because just testing against it and playing it a few times, you actually are okay with them killing dragons because that's extra life.
Yeah.
The threats are so intense that it's extra life. Like, it feels good when they have to attack your Vinny, your Viscerai or whatever it is, the 6-for-1, the one that does 9 if it hits, with like more than a 1-cost attack.
Yeah.
Or a 1 damage attack, because you're like, cool.
If they're not poking that with some like random 2 or 3, you're just like, I am up right now.
Yeah, and that's the part that feels good. But I don't see how you play her in this meta. I dunked on my Dromai. Actually, not only did I dunk on the Dromai player I did, he played Sigil, and he had them at 3 specific times where I win the game. And that's the only moment I go, man, if this costs me the game because he's allowed to hang in, I will be upset. And every time, it's like 3 separate turns. I'm just like, he's dead here. Like, whatever. He's like, sigil, I'll eat it. I'm like, oh my God, bro, stop. And he played him all 3 times when he needed to. Credit to him. But there was a turn where I'm a big smack talker, and I do believe being respectful. But there was a turn where he had like Kyloria. Because for a while I ignore the dragons until I see something that I care about. He had like Kyloria, Chromai, Miragi. He had played like Chromai, Miragi the previous turn or whatever. He took a bunch of damage to do it. And I'm looking at my like super weak hand. I'm just like, this hand is horrible, but it will kill every one of those dragons and present 3 with the Ember Blade to him. And so I took the Chromai damage because there's no Phantasm or whatever, and then the Miragi damage. Or no, the Kyloria. He did not attack with Miragi, so I let him draw a card. He got to Arsenal, whatever. So I spend the turn just killing the dragons, or I kill Chromai, swing with sword at him. He blocks with 1 card, and then I'm like, kill Miragi, kill Kyloria. You cannot let Kyloria live more than a turn most of the time, because it will get annoying if they keep drawing cards. Although if they already have an arsenal, I kind of let them draw, because now they don't get it's just a dead card in their hand. Most of the time, because again, Dromai has a problem with pitching. So unless it's a 0 cost, which then it would be a dragon, they have to have the ash. He made a comment about like, oh, I'm glad you wasted all those attacks. And I was like, well, I get a mask trigger on this Kyloria. Like, I get to Arsenal, and I think it was like a Blaze, and I was like, oh, I'll just Arsenal that for next turn. And then I drew into our Aurora. I was like, yep, perfect. And then he did a 1 for 5, the Senpai. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, whatever. I'm like, whatever. He actually Tumble-Tied me and only hit 1 red and got to kill my Snapdragon Scalers, but he did not get to kill Mask of Momentum. That puts a big smirk on your face. I actually think I had the game in hand, even if he kills Mask there, because he was like, at that time, he's like at 11, and I'm like at 31. I let him bring me to like 20. I let him. I say that because you don't have to.
Usually how that matchup goes is like they either try to race you and like you're just better at racing them, or they have to like try to play the dragon plus race combo, and then like you get to draw extra cards off mask on.
And so he made some smart ass comment, and I was just like, I'm cool. I got to like in my head, I'm just like, okay, if you think that's what's gonna happen, like I played at our armories. I love it when the homies show up with Dromai, so they can get dunked on because I'm going to play 5.
We have a decent amount of like Dromai people that play it.
Like,
there's like 2 or 3 of them. We have a small local, so like 2 or 3 is actually like a decent amount. But like I just feel so bad because they just sit down and I'm like, what matchup are you winning? Although for some reason, our homie Alberto, I've played him in the finals with like any random deck I'm playing versus his Dromai like 3 times in a row. Oh, like besides like this past Thursday, but
you
like
played me.
Yeah, but every other time,
if I'm there, I'm in the final. I'm the armory killer, bro.
Yeah, you are. You
I'm
really
the
are.
armory killer, bro. At this point, we got some of the new players that are asking. One of them they're asking me if I'm going to be there next week or at the other card shops, and I'm like, nah, you can go ahead. Just go ahead and have your fun. I play once a week. I gotta work. I got kids.
How the turntables up there?
I know, bro. When you stop playing Levia, it's amazing.
I remember when you would show up with Levia, and I was just like, Sean. Every time I sit down next to you, I'm like, Sean, you gotta play a real deck.
Play a real deck. Yeah, and the thing is like, I
play a real deck.
Play a real deck, and you win. I'm a good card game player, so when I put down the bad deck and play a good deck, hey, you gotta watch out.
All right.
So so that's that. Let me just ask you thoughts on the meta and the upcoming banned and suspended announcement.
So, I think this meta is like actually really good. I think even though I personally don't like it, like it's not like I don't like the meta. I think this meta is great, and I think there's a lot of
peace chain. That's what Peter's saying when he says he doesn't like this meta.
I think there's just like I played Chain for so long that like once Chain rotated out that. And even when I wasn't playing Chain specifically, like I played Briar a little bit, I played Agrokatsu for a little bit, and you would think I would.
With Starvo
yeah, I top forward.
Top 4. Starvo. Sorry. But you played Starvo for a little bit.
And like, yeah, I played all these decks. I just didn't feel like there's a deck currently that I really was like, yo, this is my deck, right? Like I've played a lot of Viscerai in the past. I actually don't currently like the build of Viserai.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that, because realistically I'm just playing like 3-card hands, like just it's just Mob Shrill like plus the 2 and 2. Like there's you're not doing anything fun.
This is the thing about Viserai. You're gonna block with 1 card.
Yep.
It's gonna be a 3 block. Your 3 cards in your hand, and I don't care what you've arsenaled, maybe it's a good card like a Mordred or a Revel or something, is a Mauve of any color, a blue, and a Shrill of every color.
Yeah.
And that's what your turn looks like.
Yeah.
Every time. And because that is so vanilla in a way, or so when you play against it, you're just like, oh, what's the worst that you do? Like I was telegraphing these Viserai players. I play Viserai too, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like they're like eating this damage, and I'm like, okay, so what is your hand? You spellbound creepers here. You have a double Revel. Even then, it's the same amount of damage as a red Shrill turn. Like I'm just like, cool. I'll eat all of the arcane, whatever. And they're just like, oh wow, that's not good. I'm like, yeah. If I'm keeping an arsenal and 4 cards, it's not good for you.
Yeah, no.
You're not threatening me in any relevant. That's why I think Consuming Volition needs to be in that deck.
Oh, I think people are starting to play it because, especially with the rise of like fire recently, like you just have to, because they're not gonna block your arcane.
I think you might even have to go into that other one too. What's the 2-cost one?
No.
Bro, hey.
No. That card doesn't do anything.
Check out the Viserai deck coming soon. The
like,
Disruption Vis.
The problem I have with Viserai currently is like that's what you're doing, and like I think it's strong. Like I played it early into the season. Like I was testing Viserai like a lot beforehand. And I think it's good, right? Like it's very consistent. I mean, there's obviously the inconsistent, like into PT2. I played Viserai at PT2.
Yeah.
And I think going into there's like obviously the inconsistencies of Viserai, which is fine. I think after the skeleton nerf, they pushed Viserai into such a corner piece of its kit to where he can only play aggressive.
Yeah.
You're not allowed just to sit back, people don't want to play Read the Runes anymore. Like, Read the Runes is like, when I think of Viserai, I think of like Mordecai Read the Runes, like setting up for these big turns and
block out 3, make 3 rune chants go.
You're just playing like a game to you want to be like a setup turn, and then you want to be like an explosive turn, and then you kind of like play back and forth. You're playing a cool mid-range style. You're playing like a split damage, which is really nice. And you just can't do that anymore. You don't have a combo finish either. I actually really enjoyed this combo.
Oh yeah.
I think if that wasn't banned for PT1, I would 100% have brought that deck, and I thought actually it is the best deck in the room at the time if they didn't ban Skeleton entirely.
Yeah. Because
at the beginning of that format, I played combo Vis at the end of the last season and in Tails meta, because I actually think that meta was really good. And the end of that one, after like Hayden Dale won with it.
Yes.
And I was like, cool, playing this combo of Viz is really cool. So coming into this season, I was when Starvo was still last season when Starvo was still legal, I played that, got dunked on by Starvo, and I was just like, didn't have immovables in my deck, didn't have like DRs. Slowly started putting them back in the deck. Played Starvo for a little bit, played Chain for a little bit. Eventually realized that like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to beat that matchup with Viserai. Played like 7 games in a row, won all 7, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just going to play Vis for the rest of the season. Obviously, it got banned. Skeleton got banned, then I went back to playing Chain.
Yeah.
But I just sort of, I think there's not a good reason for me to play it anymore. Like, I think the best thing you can do is play Blue Tome. I think Blue Tome actually flips a lot of matchups.
Yeah, draw 2
and
for 1 is...
But inherently, you have to go into a more...
Yeah, the nature is you're building a deck that is trying to be consistent, but you're building in natural inconsistencies with Sonata and Tome and having to run the 50-50 split. Because you can make it, you can build it to the best of your ability, but mathematics says there will be turns where you just whiff. And when you whiff, it doesn't feel good. When you hit it, like I said, you feel amazing, yeah.
And like you play, I think Arcanite Shard is actually really good in that deck.
Yeah,
But you don't want to play Blue Tome and Arcanite Shard, because if you ever hit Arcanite Shard off of Tome, you're just like, I don't even want to reveal the next card. Like you're just like, all right, I already know. You just can't hit, right?
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like you play both and go into more.
If you pitch Blue Arcanite Shard to play Tome, different story. But
here we're going. Yeah, I just don't think right. I think the Viserai players are going to play Viserai like that. It's still a good deck, right?
Yes.
It's just not something I don't want to work that hard to get a win versus like Oldham versus playing a deck that will just do better into it as a closer matchup. I tried playing Icelander, and I would traditionally think I'd be good playing Icelander by playing Kano a lot, and I just like played 20 games with Icelander, and I was just like, this is not the deck.
No.
I just looked at it, I was like, it's not that you're playing on the different Axel and stuff like that. It's more of a control deck than anything. It's not, I'm playing at instant speed, trying to like, playing all these cool interactions and stuff like that. Like, it's still cool, it has like fun interactions, but you're playing control deck. I don't like playing control decks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Fi is the closest thing that I would play. I actually think I'm like leaning towards playing Fi more. It's realistically the only deck that I'm going to traditionally play from the decks I played in the past. I've been actually testing a lot of Oldham randomly. It feels more of a mid-range deck than a control deck, because you're playing so many more reds in your deck now, and so many more like, oh, I'm playing these big attacks, and I'm coming in for like 10 damage randomly. Here's like a 4 cost 8 that like, if you block it, it's gonna be worse for you. Like, just like a whole bunch of
choke slam's pretty good right now.
A whole bunch of like other stuff like that. I think it's fine. That deck obviously is very good. I think Oldham is like the safest bet that you can make in this meta. Everybody knows it's gonna be good. You could play that matchup versus everybody. I did play a couple of games of that control mech list, which I actually think is...
They're calling it, I believe it's Tree Lizard Dash now?
It's a Green Frog.
Green Frog Dash, because you keep your life total high.
Yeah.
Green frogs climb up into trees. I do like that we have Wombat Dash, Green.
Yeah.
That's cool to me. And yes, when you're running Sunkiss,
bro,
you're going to get points from me.
Bro,
because that's just fun.
I sat there and Spencer was playing against the dude that was playing it at Nationals, right? The top 8 and he was playing like, I think it was like the second to last round of Nats, and he like sits down and I was like, oh, it's Dash. I was like, he's playing Boost Dash. He like flips Induction. I was like, well, maybe he's just playing Control Dash. And then like turns there goes Healing Balm Sigil, and I just like, I was like,
what is
I looked around,
on?
There's like 2 other people watching this game with me, and I just like look at them and they go, I'm just like, we're all just looking at each other like, what is this? And like, obviously Fi is like probably your worst matchup with that deck. Like, I don't think you can... I
think the game ended and Spencer was at 30 life.
Yeah. Like, it was not like Spencer was going to lose that matchup, but like, it's just like traditionally when your worst matchups, because you want to fatigue, you want to go super long, you just can't do that against Fi. Fi will actually fatigue you randomly.
It will loop you, yeah.
Well, yeah, it'll just loop you. But...
That's funny.
That's wild.
I remember walking up and being like, this fool just played Sunkiss?
Yeah.
And you were already standing there. You already standing there, and I was like, oh, wait. Spencer's not in trouble. I was like, what is this list? And then people started talking.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's a control dash.
You can't
like, oh.
lose versus Oldham with that list. Like, I mean, obviously you can lose, but that deck is sniping Oldham to the point to where you're stacking so many other matchups, but you just can't lose that one. That's like the matchup you want to see.
Because you're gonna pull out all 3 purifiers?
So there's 3 plasma, 2 induction, and then so you just have 5 items. And then you're attacking for 15 every single turn. And
yeah, because you'll loop up your life total to build up, to get the setup, and then you just loop 15
that deck
damage.
You have like with Sunkiss, with Sigils, with Healing Bombs, and then like with all the
DRs.
all the Fiendals, with the DRs. Like, you got like 80 life. And then like...
it's crazy.
You can't... You're like, cool, I'll trade 3 damage for 3 damage here. You're like, cool, I have like 70 life in this deck, like 70, 80 life in this deck, and you have 40. Eventually, when... it's like 10 to 20. I just win with 15 every single... I'm presenting 15 a turn with 3 cards.
Yeah.
Like, can you beat that?
It's like load up, pitch another blue, load up, set up, take counters off, swing for 5, give it go again, use a counter, swing for 10, pitch last card, start some of your setup, and then swing for the third 5.
Is
ridiculous.
Some weird cards.
Hey,
like, even after, like, Sunkiss and after, like, Healing Balm, man, it's playing... Springboard I haven't seen
Springboard Somersault.
I haven't seen Springboard Somersault since like I started the game with the Ira Welcome deck, and like back all the way back then.
I had it in my Pummel or my club Reiner control list. I think Springboard Somersault's a funny card.
And then it's just like it's just playing a whole bunch of generics. The deck's really cool, right? I actually think decks like that coming out and hitting the meta from a certain direction, trying to snipe decks like. Who thinks of this deck list, right? Who's really thinking like, oh, I'm going to try to break Control Dash. Let me play 40 generics.
Let me play 40 generics and pull out the life gain as a tactic.
Let me put like 12 life gain spells in my deck. And, like I'm no deck builder like that. Like if I started saying stuff like that, I'm really smoking. I'm smoking.
Those ideas don't even make it. Like, you can't even walk into Mordor like that. We will just be like, bro, what are you doing? Stop. They do it to me all the time. Because I'll be like, hey, guys, what about this? They'll be like, listen, this is Gondor, bro. Like, we don't do that here.
You're so
like, you go back over there with that shit. Okay? And so, yeah.
I think, realistically...
Props to that guy's friends.
Oh.
For letting him do that and... having the balls to test it and finding out that it works.
Those guys are true friends because, like, honestly, sometimes you'd be looking at some of those deck lists and you're like, dude.
I know.
Bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are we... That's like one of those games where you hop on Talshar with the homies, like, oh, I want to test something. And you play, like, 2 games, and, like, both games are, like, 32-0, and you're like, dude, can you just, like, play real time?
Yeah, you're wasting my time.
You're just, like, actually wasting our time. And he goes, oh, my bad. But, like, then... He probably played that into Old. He's like, I think I can snipe Oldham, and they played against Oldham, and then like Exodia comboed with him twice. And they're like, I think we might have something here.
Yeah, and it's probably pretty good in Islander too, right?
I watched him play on stream.
I'm not saying it's a favorable matchup, but it's very close. Closer.
It's very close. He won against the Islander on stream. I think it was very close.
Yeah, because if you don't know how to play against it, again, they're just going to gain life.
You
like getting healing bombed when they use their cards for AV.
Oh, you know
and then they just end their turn with healing bomb paths.
You know how you're so used to them running like the mech chest? They're playing Tunic 84 in the matchup, and so you can use Tunic 3 to pop the Frostbites so Frost Hex doesn't kill you. And I was like, this is wild. I was like, this is the type of decks that I see people build, and I'm like, this is cool. Like, even if I don't play this, I wish more people play and make those decks.
Yeah.
Because think about if, say, the top 8, like, was different, right? Say both Oldham was on his side. He played Oldham 2 rounds, then he played Icelander against the finals and stuff like that, and that deck won. Hands to beat him, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I thought...
He was on the Briar side of the bracket, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, like, it was Briar Fi, and then him versus Oldham.
Okay,
he beat the Oldham, and then he lost to the Fi. And then the other side was the Icelander versus Oldham, and then Icelander versus Fi.
Which was
both Icelander went out there, and then Icelander versus Fi in the finals. I think it was really cool. I like those decks. Michael Hamilton obviously bringing like Wounding Bowl and Fiendals and stuff like that. I like when people just bring these cards that you would. I don't think people have ever registered in a deck. Like since WTR, how many people have played Wounding Bowl in their deck? I don't think I've seen a Wounding Bowl.
Hey, if they were really smart, they would have used Adrenaline Rush because it's a 2 for 7, and not a 3 for 8.
The 3 for 8. What, 3 for 8 is better than 2 for 7. What do you mean? You're always going to pick blue.
You have an extra resource.
For what?
Something. You never know. I'm just gonna put it out there, Michael. I don't know if you looked at. Maybe there's some reasoning. I'll listen to M&R. Maybe some reasoning, but Adrenaline Rush. I have many times looked at decks and be like, oh, if I'm racing, is Adrenaline Rush just good here? As like a 2 for 7?
Yep.
But then when the turns where you're way ahead, you're like, this card sucks.
I did get to see Michael on the opposite side of the train station on, like, I think it was like...
Yeah, that night we were going...
and he just, like, we're just, like, randomly talking, and we're like, oh, man, like, did you see that they were running, like, attacks, like, in his list? So, like, Michael Hamilton just, like, top 8'd with it. And then I like look up from the bench and it's Michael Hamilton right in front of us. He goes, "Hey guys," and I was like, "I love this dude." Right?
I did like
He's such a nice
Scar.
dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a nice dude.
I did like the Scar. I think Scar is great.
Yeah.
Islander probably should. I think going forward, right? Mm-hmm. Even obviously like knowing that Icelander has this super arcane version, super disruptive and heavy, and then this like what they call the battle mage version.
Yeah.
I think it's nice because now as the meta changes, there might be a combination where you're running a little bit less attacks and more of the disruption, and you can meld. Or there might come a time like how Prism used to have the transformation package where she had the aura baggage and then 15 cards for aggro that she could side in. There might be a point where, hey, you're the meta, and not right now, but the meta is going to dictate you play the arcane version, but you have a 15 card Wounded Bull, Fiendels, and Scar for Scar package that you bring in against certain heroes.
Super excited to see the next super innovation on this list,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be mech. It doesn't need to be Ice Center. Somebody for Worlds is bringing the tech. Like, it is the wild, like, and it's like, do you have enough balls to bring it, right? Like, there's somebody out there that has the future of this meta right now, and it's him or her deciding if they have, if they're like, is this the tournament I bring this out on?
Yeah.
There is decks that I don't think we've ever seen at a competitive level that I have tested, and leading into PT1, there was a deck that I was testing with Tyler Hostpool and the Cali guys.
You don't want to spoil it?
No. Online.
I know what it is.
I never know when I'm going to bring that up. That, like, I tested online, and I was like, yo, this is the future. And then, you had that one bad week with the deck,
and then
you have like,
yep.
Okay, and then you're like, is it really that bad? And then you bring it to the tournament with you, play some practice games, and you're like, which one do I bring? Do I bring the choice that I know I'm going to do good with, or I'm going to bring the choice that I could just not make day 2, or I could win the entire tournament with? And sometimes, you get nervous with those medicals. Like, I didn't bring Kano because, like, Kano's one of those decks that I'm either not going to make day 2, and I'm going to be the only person in my group, and I'm going to be sad, or I'm going to be, like, top tables like Alex 4, like, XOing the tournament in there.
Yeah.
And,
you run that risk.
I don't think either one of them is a bad idea. It's just, how good are you, how are you feeling going into it? Are you okay with not making day 2, but being like, I have to play something that I believe could be the new meta?
Yeah, so I watch a lot of the other content creators, and I do believe that in this game you have to, obviously the game will dictate what you're able to do when you're playing it, but you have to have a game plan going into every matchup. If you sit down and they have something new in their deck that is outside of what you've tested again, hey, good on them, and it might not work, it might work, whatever. But if you sit down, if you like, I'm S5 and I sit down against Hold'em, I have a game plan of what I want to do. And like against Tyler, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do because of the way it lines up. But at least I know what I'm going to do if I get a chance, or if I'm always on the front foot. And if you build a deck that you think is like the sauce and you're going to take it somewhere, if you legit have a plan into everybody and you've played 10 reps on the heroes that may not get represented, the Levias, the Boltons, the people that are out of the meta now. I'm not saying those aren't good decks, but you've at least, so you're aware of what you want to do into them, right? Because you never want to sit down and be like, oh, I'm playing Sir Bolton, I don't know what to do, and he combos you and you just die. But if you have it, and then you've played, maybe 30 to 50 reps onto all of the 4 or 5 top decks, and you think that your sauce is good enough, and you have the balls to bring it, you could be the person that's up there with Sunkissed Dash and and doing that kind of stuff. And I think that's really good. I think it's good for the meta. Okay, so ban and restricted announcement. Are we only worried about Belittle Minimalism? Is that the only card?
Personally, I hate Channel Like Frigid. I am one of those people that I'm like,
I don't play it, but I love that. I think that card's so
I think it's one of those cards that
I think Islander being able to play it at instant speed on your turn is busted. I don't mind you pitching 2 on your turn to play a channel. I don't like it when you interrupt my turn.
It's one of those good defensive tools, and you need it in the game. I think that one is a little too. I think all the channels are it breaks.
Except for Channel Thunderstep. That card is trash.
Rip that one, but like it makes it a little bit harder. I think it's fine, right? Like I would like to see it go personally.
Wait till we get the new Channel Draconic.
Might as well.
Just calling it here now. I'm just letting you guys know.
I would rather not have Channel Like Frigid. I don't think you need to ban it. That's something.
Why does Ice get 2 channels?
That's also true.
Where's my second Earth channel?
Or my Lightning channel that's playable.
Playable Lightning channel, yeah. You're allowed to play Wild Lightning.
Something that I would actually like to see is them unbanning Ball Lightning.
Yeah, I was
like or limiting Ball Lightning, right? I think the problem that we see, and maybe moving it from being banned to it being limited to when Briar leaves the format, because Lexi can only be built in one way currently, and it's just like you play the no fuse list or the light ice fuse or pure ice.
Yeah.
Like you can't play it lightning because none of the lightning cards. You don't have any. There's so little amounts of lightning cards.
You need to be able to reveal Ball Lightning, play Vipox from hand.
Not the 5
Play
Fox. Not the 5 Fox.
I'm just gonna put it out here.
Not the 5 Fox.
5 Fox Lexi, future deck tech.
All right, we're done. I'm done with this point. I can't talk.
No, we do. I think the little minnowism Channel Lake is probably some of the only cards.
I just miss a lot of what like Briar could do. I'm somebody that Briar's actually thinks. I actually think that Plunder Run shouldn't have been banned when it was banned, right? I thought the format was good without it being banned, as you could see in like Australian Nats after, like Viserai combo literally beat the deck like multiple times when Plunder Run was still legal. Like it was fine. I think they preemptively banned it because nobody wanted to actually innovate.
So true. But can you imagine if I play Plunder Run from my arsenal with 5s or Red Starter?
I'm just saying. The problem is I actually think 5 would be a worse deck if Plunder Run
was in it.
Not because Plunder Run was in it, it's because 5 doesn't block. And when you play Plunder Run versus 5 and 5 doesn't block, it changes. It's a +3 from Arsenal, so it's a 0 for it's a regular card. Then it draws a card, so that's 2/0 for 3. That's basically 6 damage from 5. Like. Against that 5 has to erase. So, but in other decks, they can make those 2 cards into 8 when 5 can only make them 6. So you're just losing every race. And it replaces. So
we might have to we might have to test that because I'm thinking Blaze Headlong.
I'm just saying.
It's a breakpoint draw card, bro.
I would actually play Katsu over 5 if Plunder Run was still legal.
Okay.
I think you actually can make that argument because I think what Katsu lacks right now is like actual on hit, like relevant on hit to not discard a card to draw cards, and like everyone knows how to play Mirror Mask, right? It's like the easiest thing. But like Plunder Run allowed you just like the breakpoints were so much better. Like everything was, and like it continued on the chain. I think you play Briar a lot better. Obviously, Briar with Plunder Run is going to be a lot better than it is currently. Like. I liked playing it in Viserai with Plunder Run. I actually
starting off with
playing.
a non-attack,
there was like so many things, and you just can't do that anymore. I think obviously the card's so good, right?
Yeah.
Like it being banned is fine. But I would like to see the meta with Plunder Run back in it.
So we would like to see some revisiting to cards that have been banned already, maybe moving them to limited or whatever.
Although Below Monism probably will get banned in of a year. I think in of a year that those cards will probably be banned. I think those cards break what a lot of you can do in the game. Personally, as a Political Minimalism enjoyer, as we are Political Minimalism enjoyers, and being on the other side of it, I'd rather have that.
Take my little dwarfy boy.
Like,
you already took stubbies from us.
Don't take that boy, right? I mean,
dope. I want to see that character, man.
Yeah, I do. I want to see a lot. So no, that's it. I don't think a lot of people will. I don't think there's going to be a lot of bannings. I wouldn't be surprised if they said nothing is going to be changed. I would kind of be surprised if they banned like one thing. I'd be surprised if they banned Belittle Minnowism or one of the two, and then kept the control decks.
Yeah,
and I would be very surprised if they did that. I think if you take Belittle Minnowism, you have to put down like. To hit Autumn's Touch, you have to hit Channel like Frigid. You have to hit a couple things. So it's either hit nothing or you have to hit everything. And I don't think it's. I think this meta is fine right now to where there's still a lot of innovation to be there. We see new innovation coming in every single tournament and more cool things. And I think I'm excited for us to play World CC like this.
Yeah, because then we just get new cards.
And then we get new cards.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's perfectly fine now. I don't think they should change anything. If they do, they probably have to change a lot to balance it. I'm actually really excited for Blitz though. Obviously, I'm just gonna play Kano because
why wouldn't you, bro?
Okay. Actually,
just play.
I would not be surprised if they ban something from Blitz.
I've
heard a lot of people talking about how Mask of the Pouncing Lynx makes Blitz unplayable for like you're playing like 5. Like, because 20 damage, like, 5 can do 20 damage so easily off one Art War. Like, no problem, right?
No problem.
Like, I think
you need an Art War most of the
time.
No,
I could think they could touch Fi in some way in Blitz. Obviously, like, Kano's by far the best deck in that form. Well, like, honestly, I think Kano's by far
just kills people.
Kano's just gonna kill everybody, right? But like the deck is balanced because everybody plays EB3. Yeah. Everybody's prepared for it. Like everybody knows Kano's gonna be one of those decks. Everybody has a plan for it. Also, you printed Oasis. I hate you. Why did you print Oasis? Yeah. But like, that's fine. And then Ice Sander's really good in that format. I would just say like, Reiner's probably too consistent because you just die. People just die on turn 0 with that deck. And then I think 5 is just you never block with that deck and you just kill people on turn 2. Like you go first. Oh, can you do 20 damage to me? Oh, you can't. Here's 40 damage. You die.
Yeah.
Like.
Right. Yeah, they might touch something. Okay, so
they might touch something in that format. I don't think they'll see anything in CC, but I think we'll see something in Blitz. If we don't see anything in Blitz, I'd be surprised.
I mean, it's only 3 rounds.
I hope, actually,
it's only 3 rounds.
Here's my call. They should ban Oasis in CC to allow Kano to be more prevalent in the meta.
Oh, well, it's because you're a Kano enjoyer. I just want to say, if you guys have made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be making these videos. We'll talk about stuff. We do have some deck techs that are going to be coming up. Peter did a Kano deck tech, and then I did my KFC Phi. And then we will do some more stuff. We're going to the Battle Hard in Dallas this weekend.
There'll be a vlog.
So, we'll have some stuff, some content. Some coffee. I'll get video of Pete eating coffee ice cream in the hotel room.
No, you're gonna be eating.
I will be.
And hear about this. Hear about this. You top 8 that Battle Harden. I'll eat a whole tub of coffee ice cream.
Beautiful.
Right here.
That's all I need to hear. Now I got my real motivation. Check us out. We'll be putting more content. We'll have deck techs. We will have deck techs for other games too. We don't just enjoy Fab.
Yeah.
We are big time Fab enjoyers. But there's other games we both play. So look forward to it. Check us out. We'll have a video up soon. Thanks.